All. My name is Anima Shashwani, working as an assistant professor at RMD Engineering College, CSE department. Today's my topic about the microservice architecture. So coming to the introduction part of the microservice architecture. So we having syllabus is an introduction, microservice architecture, comparing microservice architecture with SOA, benefits and drawbacks of microservice architecture pattern language, beyond microservices, process and organization, microservice architecture style, applications of microservice architecture. So first coming to the introduction. So first we need to know about the what is the use of the microservice architecture. It is background of the why we are using this type of subjects. So this is the basic for the designing pattern. So before we having the designing pattern, how we are going to designing a project, before we having a very good knowledge, then we can implementation of our coding or also be it will be very easy. So coming to the first step of our project is an process one, and then process one, each software developer work will be implemented successfully, and then step two and next step it will be going for the settings will be applying. They mean we are going to checking the code errors are existing or not. If any errors are will be there, there we are going to rectifying that errors. After finding out that errors, the next moving to the process 3 and then finding that errors and rectifying the errors. This is the basic step of the design patterns we are doing. So next coming to the next slide. So why we need to do a design pattern? So before we want to construct a new home or also we need to go for designing a blueprint. Like that we want to design any software in designing or also we need to prepare one of the blueprint. So here we are comes under the part of a design pattern here. So by using the design pattern, the team working on various projects use the same pattern to build and similar applications. For example, we are using daily life so many apps we are going to the using. We are uploading the files and downloading the files and then saving the files. Means the work will be repeating in the same apps, whatever apps we are using, like an audio files, like an video files, or documentation, whatever files we are using. For that one, we are same work will be repeating in the app. So here, first of all, we are studying about the skeleton of the project, and then we are moving to the designing part here. So, what is an microservices? Actually, in our industrial part or nowadays real-time example, so many architectures we are existing, but particularly we are showing interest in the microservice architecture. So, microservice is an one of the styling architecture. Here we can get the small autonomous services, and then we are going to combining or moduling a one of the great business module. So like here we can use that same single module in the another project or also. For example, here I am created one of the business domain. Under the business domain, I created so many small modules like an microservice 1, microservice 2, microservice 3, microservice 4, microservice 5, up to n services I am created here. And next coming to the here, you can easily understand the one of the example I given. So, what are the principles behind under our microservice architecture? So, one of the best example I given here, one is one of the characteristics for our microservice architecture is it is an independent and autonomous services, and it is having the good scalability, and we can it is one of the decentralization. It is not a centralized. It means no one can be control this one. This one acting as a decentralization concept. And next coming to the it is an silent service, and it is very useful for the real time balancing purpose, and it is very availability software. And next coming to the it is a continuous delivery through a DevOps integration. Like we can integrate the small modules and then we can reuse the same small modules in the other projects are also. And it is an schemeless application programming interface, one of the application programming interface. And it is having an isolation feature. It can resolve their problems by itself. It's one of the best characterization for a microservice architecture. And next one, last one is an auto provisioning will be existing here. Next, moving to the next slide. So here, one of the main property we are using the aggregator. Aggregator is nothing but collects the related items of data and display them based on the property like a principal dry principle. Here I am using a aggregator. I created the two services. One is one service name I given as an A, another service name I given as an B. So I'm storing whatever service is provided for the client, or an I'm getting whatever data, everything I'm sharing into the database. Means individual databases I'm going to the maintaining here. One of the best thing in the microservice architecture. When you apply this type of architecture, means it will provide the very good results. In databases will be we are maintaining, so it cannot go for misuses of the data. It is one of the best thing for maintaining like these databases. And API gateway. So for whenever client want to access the data, like can log in, or he will going to entering the profile information. We need one of the security things like that here. For every app we are designing under the microservice architecture, it will having a application programming interface will be having here. So what is the use of the API gateway? Means it's one of the protocol request. Means authenticated authors only, or authenticators admins only, authenticated clients only access the data. Whoever not authenticated, means authentication is nothing but, and by providing them security like passwords, and then we are giving some nowadays we are using the biometrics. These are all will be comes under the authentication. So here, whenever I'm using the application programming interface protocol, it is providing the very good, very good way of security will be providing. Here I'm having the client. The client will going to interacting with the API gateway. The client will going to checking out the either existing client is an authenticated or not by using their whatever security mechanism, security algorithms they are using, and then filtering here the existed client is an authenticated, means then we are having the load balancer. Load balancer will going to finding out the what type of service the client will going to the expecting. So then here he will going to providing the service one or service two, like whatever service he want to that service will go into the accepting. Next, one more property here we are going to applying here. One is an chain of responsibility. Means here producing a single output, which is a combination of the multiple chained outputs. So using the synchronous HTTP request or response for a messaging. So here I am having the service A, service B, service C. Each service having their independent databases. Means based on the combination of the databases, I am going to getting the proper output here. And next one is an asynchronous messaging. Asynchronous messaging is an all the services can communicate with each other, but they don't have to communicate with each other sequentially. Means services can be communicate simultaneously, but communicate sequentially. This type of services will be coming under the asynchronous messaging. And one more is an here maintaining the databases. We are maintaining the databases is an one is an database per service. Another is an shared database. Database per service will be taken as an one of the example for the centralization communication. Shared database will be taken as an for an decentralization databases. Means here high security we can see in the database per service, and the decentralization is having the very good communication compared to the centralization communication. And next, one more technique we are using is in branching. Branching is a simultaneous process, array request or a response for the two or more independent microservices. This type of will be comes under the branching. And one more is a technique here we using as a circuit breaker. Circuit breaker used to stop the process of a request and a responses of the services is not working. Means then what previously we can take an example of the characterization existing in our microservice architecture is an isolation. Isolation is an solving their problems by itself. Like that here we having a client. Client will going to whenever want to access their databases, and one is an here we having the intermediate services, and we having the remote services. Remote services purpose is what is the request is generated by the client. If is anything network issues or some other issue problems, if the client will be unable to get access the data, means it will going to maintaining the copy of the request, that based on that copy of the request he will going to getting access from the database. And coming to the next one is a microservice architecture styles. The next class I will going to continuing about the microservice architecture styles. Thank you.